Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2004 Toyota Avalon XL. Up front is a 3.0 liter V6 and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Avalon for one reason. I love these cars. I've reviewed this generation before. I did 2001, but this is kind of the spec you actually want to look for because, as the title suggests, it has a column shifter and a bench seat. And so this feels like an older vehicle, which I personally believe is a good feeling in this car. And it's one of those holdouts that is holding on to the past in a very grandma's cooking kind of way. I'm excited to peel into that with you here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 3-liter V6 under the hood. Well, it is known as the 1MZ-FE and makes about 210 horsepower, which is pretty conservative. It's not straining itself. It's not throwing its back out trying to please you with horsepower or torque numbers. And what you get out of that is plenty of reliability. These cars are very reliable. That makes good enough power to satisfy your wants and needs. But again, it's not going above and beyond because that's where sometimes it can get hurt. And I like that a lot. This is a very straightforward, very useful amount of power and drivetrain, and I like that a lot. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic. That's the only way that this generation of Avalon came. Nothing new here, however, it is shifted on the column. Now, the XL was essentially the base model of the Avalon, and it got a bench seat up front and a column shifter because there's no center console because of said bench seat. So, if you really like column shifts, this is a great vehicle for that. Last but not least, it is front-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the 2004 Toyota Avalon? It is very, very comfortable. It is very nice to drive. It's smooth, it's silky, and it's just a wonderful experience. I don't have to yell over the rattling suspension. I don't have to get my spine realigned after a short drive to Safeway. It's relaxing. And that's what a big sedan like this was supposed to be. The Avalon was kind of the Lexus without the badge. And you really feel that with the ride. Visibility is good. You have relatively small A-pillars, so no worries there. Steering is light. Throttle response is dull, but you don't really need it to be anything more. It's just simply lovely, and one of the best bargains you can find on the used market today. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature and tachometer, and off to the right is the speedometer and fuel. On the steering wheel, we do have a cruise control set of buttons to the right, but that's it. And off to the left, we have our climate vent, power mirrors, gauge dimmer switch, and trunk release. Moving on to the door, we do have our power locks and power windows, as well as you do get a little cubby in the door. Really nice usage of space here by Toyota in the Avalon. Moving into the center, we get a little clock and our odometer, but that's it. Very clean and simple. I actually really like the screenless interior. You get some digital readouts, but there's no giant glaring screen staring you down every time you drive. I really miss this era of vehicles, and you find that here in the Avalon. We do have 2 climate vents as well as the hazard switch and the radio. Again, this is the non-screen radio. We have CD and tape, AM and FM. That's it, all you really need out of a radio. And then we do have our climate controls. Interestingly enough, dual zone climate. Very nice to see here for 2004. Not as commonly found as it is here today. Fan speed, where to send it, all the fixins there. Then we do have a pull-out ashtray and a hidden 12-volt outlet way down below. I'm sure I've missed that on my previous reviews. Obviously, we do have a bench seat. However, you actually can fold down a center armrest that does have cup holders in it. So we'll do a big friggin' bottle test. The big friggin' bottle starts to go in, but it's too big to go all the way in. So unfortunately, it fails, but you do get really good-sized cup holders here in the Avalon, so I don't want to demerit it too hard. However, you get this lovely bench seat in the front. This transforms the entire car because now this is a comfortable family cruiser. I can have someone sit in the middle and ride with my arm around them. Bucket seats have always made the human mind think that it is more sporty, and so you could get bucket seats in the Avalon, but this is the cruiser, baby. This is the family car. This is the Avalon. Not the Avalon. This is not an Avalon. This is an Avalon. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2004 Toyota Avalon XL, and the word I've been searching for is cozy. Knees aren't hitting the seat in front of me, head's not hitting the ceiling. I'm 5'11", not a small guy, but as you can see with this footage, everything in here is soft, it's supple, it's comfortable. I know we haven't invented time machines yet, but sitting back here is as close as we can come. I don't feel like I have any bills. I'm not paying attention to the news. No one's yelling at me. No one's blowing up my phone for this, that, or the other. It's just relaxing back here. And it's big enough to do so. Again, my knees aren't hitting the seat in front of me. I also do have a fold-down center console with 2 cup holders, and we do get a pass-through to the trunk and cargo space that we'll talk about in a second. But, man, this back seat is so cozy. I really miss cars like this. They really just hit it out of the park. But let's hop into the back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space. Right around the back of the Avalon XL, we do have a trunk popper here on the key fob. Love to see that in vehicles. Pop it up, and there you go. I could easily sleep back here if needed. If you end up buying this car, you can too. Nothing really too crazy. We can pull this up. We do get a spare tire. Again, something that's not found in all vehicles today. Love to see that it has a spare tire, but that is the rear trunk space of a Toyota Avalon XL from 2004. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I've never thought that the Avalon was overly braggiose or in your face or really super handsome. I've always found these to be fine. They do just look like a bigger Camry, and I think that ended up being somewhat of its downfall towards the later years is because they didn't have this big brand recognition. They ended up being cars that if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. And the people that didn't really know about the Avalon obviously overlooked it a lot. So I think the looks of the vehicle sort of play into that and cause the big reasoning for why these might not have gotten the love that they truly deserved. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving another Toyota Avalon from the early 2000s? Well, I was so excited to do this review because of that column shifter and bench seat. As I mentioned with the seating earlier, I do think that it completely transforms this car. And this car, quite frankly, feels old. Plain and simple, this feels old, but in the best way possible. Older cars of the 60s, 70s, and 80s had big, comfy seats, bench seats, column shifters, and it made the vehicle feel more like a living space than an automobile. It wasn't something you drove, it was something that was always there at your destinations, if that makes any sense. And so not every Avalon in this era got this configuration, but it's always special when you do find one. And there's something that just feels a little bit more homegrown, a little bit more friendly about this car. This car is now a warm embrace. However, as I mentioned, it feels old. It doesn't operate old. It has a modern, reliable drivetrain. It's that beautiful window of reliability we saw towards the end of the 90s into the early 2000s from Toyota and Honda and Mazda, but embraces the older traditions. This car celebrates old traditions in a modern way. I think some traditions deserve to be left in the past. They don't deserve the light of day, but the tradition of the front bench seat and the column shift should remain. This is a good tradition because it brought people together. It made people feel comfortable. It made a big gasoline fire inferno burning vehicle feel like a living room or a bedroom. It doesn't feel like I'm driving a big sedan. It feels like I'm getting a warm hug from a friend or family member. This car helps me breathe easier. It helps me breathe a sigh of relief. Maybe the world isn't so ugly out there. Maybe life can go on. Maybe, just for today, I'm gonna be okay. Things are looking up. Is this car perfect? No. But gosh darn it, if it isn't the closest we ever came with the full-size sedan, I don't know what else is. It's beautiful, and it just works so well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Ted for letting me borrow his Avalon for today's video. I was so excited to get behind the wheel yet again. Ted is wonderful. I've reviewed at least 24 cars from him. Always something wacky, always something weird, but today I was excited to not use my shouting voice and show you the Toyota Avalon, and that's thank you to Ted. This vehicle is for sale as well for Black Friday, so if you would like to buy this Avalon, you can do so with the contact information down in the description below. If there is no more contact info, that means the vehicle has already been sold, so good luck to you and everyone else. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.